Will Smith talks about his new movie tomorrow at 9.
On World News Tonight this Thursday, the independent counsel Kenneth Starr tells the House Judiciary Committee in person why he believes the president is liable for impeachment.
The evidence suggests that the president repeatedly tried to thwart the legal process in the Jones matter and in the grand jury investigation.
Impeachment hearings for only the third time in the country's history. The House committee is deeply divided by political hostility.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. To begin this evening with the impeachment process and Bill Clinton means today the impeachment process and the independent counsel, Kenneth Starr. Today, for only the third time in the country's history, the Judiciary Committee took up the question of whether a president should be impeached. And the only witness today was Mr. Starr, who began with a lengthy statement on what his investigation had concluded. So first we go to Washington and ABC's Jackie Judd.
Kenneth Starr, as witness for the prosecution, calmly and methodically laid out his case against the president.
The key point about the president's conduct is this. On at least 6 different occasions, from December 17, 1997, through August 17, 1998, the president had to make a decision. He could choose truth, or he could choose deception. On all 6 occasions, the president chose deception.
The first decision, said Starr, came when Mr. Clinton called Lewinsky at her Watergate apartment in the middle of the night to tell her she would be a witness in the Paula Jones case.
The president could have told Ms. Lewinsky that they must tell the truth under oath. The president could have explained that they might face embarrassment, but that as a citizen and as the president, he could not lie under oath, and he could not sit by while Monica did so. The president did not say anything like that.
Instead, said Starr, Lewinsky claimed they discussed cover stories devised long ago.
At that moment, the president's intimate relationship with a subordinate employee was transformed. It was transformed into an unlawful effort to thwart the judicial process.
Starr said the president soon made another critical decision to make a series of allegedly false statements when deposed by Jones's lawyers.
He testified that he could not recall being alone with Ms. Lewinsky. That was untrue. He testified that he could not recall ever being in the Oval Office hallway with Ms. Lewinsky except perhaps when she was delivering pizza. That was untrue. He testified that he could not recall gifts exchanged between Ms. Lewinsky and him. That was untrue. He testified, after a 14-second pause, that he was not sure whether he had ever talked to Ms. Lewinsky about the possibility that she might be asked to testify in the lawsuit. That was untrue.
By contrast, Starr's account of Mr. Clinton's lengthy testimony before the grand jury was brief and without any graphic detail.
The president thus denied certain conduct with Ms. Lewinsky and devised a variety of tortured and false definitions.
But Starr defended having asked Mr. Clinton for sexual details of his affair with Lewinsky and for including them in his referral to Congress.
The details of the president's relationship with Ms. Lewinsky became relevant. Indeed, they became critical in determining whether and the extent to which the president made false statements under oath and otherwise obstructed justice.
Democrats objected when Starr went beyond the Lewinsky case.
I believe Mr. Starr's remarks are now out of order.
But he actually exonerated the president in a number of areas. He testified Mr. Clinton was not involved in firing White House Travel Office employees or in the collection of FBI files by 2 White House aides. And Starr revealed that last year he drafted a referral to Congress about Mr. Clinton's alleged involvement in a fraudulent loan given to Susan McDougal, but then decided the evidence was not strong enough. And at the end of his testimony, with his voice rising, Starr made a final defense of his own conduct.
I revere the law. I'm proud of what we have accomplished. We were assigned a difficult job. We have done it to the best of our abilities. We've tried to be both fair and thorough.
Clearly, the independent counsel had a huge challenge going into this hearing to reshape his public image and to restore credibility to his much maligned investigation. But at least for a couple of hours today, Ken Starr got to focus on what he says is the real issue, the evidence against the president. Peter?
Thanks very much, Jackie Judd in Washington. Many Americans, certainly including many of us here at ABC, have been glued to the television set all day, in part because this is the first time anybody has heard Mr. Starr talk at length and heard the Democrats and the Republicans respond, which we'll get to in just a minute. But the question for my colleague at the moment, George Stephanopoulos, is, did it go anywhere?
I don't think so. You know, Ken Starr made a strong case that the president broke the law, but there were no big bombshells. And when the hearing opened today, there weren't the votes in the House for impeachment. When the gavel falls tonight, I still don't think there will be the votes.
One of the things that I know struck you and struck others was that there was not much defense of the president from the Democrats questioning Mr. Starr.
Amazing. You know, the Democrats don't want to defend what the president did. All they want to say is, whatever he did, it doesn't rise to the level of impeachment.
Let me go to Washington and our legal analyst, Jeffrey Toobin, and point out very quickly what we all know, Jeff. This is about politics, not about the law. But is there any sense in your mind, watching this, that the country is any closer to impeachment, or is it farther away, roughly in the same place?
Boy, I would say dead center from where it was this morning. I think today's impact will be more personal than political. I think this is the day that Ken Starr began to get his reputation back. I think he was cogent, I think he was fair, he was persuasive, but so were his critics. So I think even though Starr himself may gain some of his reputation, the public will probably be dead right where it was.
Okay, thank you very much, Jeff Toobin. And it will be no thanks to the Democratic effort if Mr. Starr succeeds in getting his reputation back. When we come back, we'll have them have a go at him.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Motrin IB.
We asked elementary school teachers to try Motrin IB instead of Advil.
This is the place for headaches.
I got a real whopper of a headache right now.
We thought this would be the perfect place to try Motrin IB.
I get aches and pains all day long.
Nothing, not even Advil, has been proven to work better than Motrin IB.
Okay.
Doctors have prescribed the medicine in Motrin IB more than any other pain reliever.
My headache is gone.
Feel better. Beautiful.
Now it's Motrin IB, spoken here.
I could teach another 20 years this stuff. Maybe not.
Someday, jet aeroplanes will be invisible to radar waves.
Imagine man-made moons helping us to communicate.
Tomorrow, electronic highways in the sky will guide air travelers to their destination.
Year after year, Lockheed Martin takes the most amazing ideas about the future and makes them fly.
Forget these. Remember this. Smile. Eat. Make a mess. Make a memory. Escape to Red Lobster.
The independent counsel is such a politicized figure now. As we said, today was his first real chance to lay out his entire case in person. And the Democrats on the Judiciary Committee were certainly laying for him. As soon as the hearing began, they tried to shift the focus to Judge Starr's behavior. And this evening, the president's personal lawyer, David Kendall, had his chance to question Judge Starr directly. Here's Sam Donaldson.
Toward the end of a long day, it was finally David Kendall's turn to have at Kenneth Starr on the president's behalf. Here is how some of it went.
Nothing in this overkill of investigation amounts to a justification for the impeachment of the President of the United States. Mr. Starr, good evening.
Good evening. How are you, David?
I'm very well, Ken. In your testimony today, you indicated that you had exonerated the president with regard to the travel office, if I heard you correctly. Is that correct?
Yes, what I indicated was that we had no information that related to his involvement, although I also made it clear that that investigation is continuing and we hope to announce decisions or actions very soon.
The travel office firings which you're investigating occurred in 1993, is that correct?
Yes, the firings were in 1993.
Also, if I heard you correctly this morning, you indicated that you had exonerated the president with respect to the FBI files matter, which had arisen in 1996. Was that correct?
Yes, that jurisdiction did come to us in 1996 from the Attorney General, and yes, we have found, as I indicated, no evidence of any wrongdoing by anyone who is relevant to, I believe at least, in my assessment, I can't speak for the committee, that would be relevant to the committee's assessment of our referral.
Kendall complained that Starr's office has leaked to the press.
And has anybody been fired from your office, Mr. Starr, for leaking?
No. Because I don't believe anyone has leaked grand jury information, Mr. Kendall.
At another point, Kendall drew from Starr the admission that Starr had not personally ever met Monica Lewinsky, or Ms. Lewinsky's mother, or Betty Curry, or a number of the other witnesses. And Starr said that he had not been present when many of the depositions were taken. But Starr explained that he represents the office and he has confidence in his investigators, Peter.
Sam, under normal circumstances, Mr. Starr seemed to say that he would not be there for the testimony of those witnesses. Did you get the same idea?
Yes, I think that's correct. Starr made the point that he is the independent counsel, and that his job is to pull together what his investigators and FBI agents and others have put together and brought before the grand jury. And he made the point again that he is presenting this information to the committee, and it is the committee's right to do with it what it will.
Beyond the very first statement from Mr. Kendall saying there was nothing there that qualified for impeachment, he seemed to have no interest in talking about Mr. Clinton, only about Mr. Starr.
Well, so far as we know, that's correct. I mean, Mr. Kendall wanted to draw Starr out on a number of points, but they seemed to be procedural, and they were not argumentative as to the evidence that Starr has brought before the committee.
Let me turn now, if I may, to ABC's Cokie Roberts, who has been watching this throughout the day. Cokie, you and I have talked a couple times today. We are both struck, you I think maybe even more than I, by all the posturing.
A lot of posturing, and as Sam just said, no discussion of what the president did, discussion of what Kenneth Starr did. And that's where it is. I mean, the Republicans were making their speeches, the Democrats were making their speeches. Everybody came in with a view, they'll go out with the same view, and then the question is, what are the politics of this when it gets to the floor of the House of Representatives?
Do you believe, knowing the members of the Judiciary Committee and seeing what you've seen today, that anyone is any closer to impeachment or about in the same place?
In the same place, which means the committee probably will vote out articles of impeachment, but then when it gets to the House floor, I think you'll find the Democratic leader working with the new speaker to try to find some middle ground.
Sam, just in 15 seconds from you, a quick last impression.
Well, Peter, the impression I have is that the committee is going at this today, but it's almost half-hearted. The Republicans are supporting Kenneth Starr. The Democrats are trying to attack him as part of that vast right-wing conspiracy that Ms. Clinton once talked about. But I think Cokie has it right. They are playing out their roles without any real desire to bring this to the point where it goes to the Senate.
Thank you both very much. Sam Donaldson and Cokie Roberts. There's going to be a lot more about this on Nightline later this evening. And when we come back, we'll address some of the other news today. Japan trying to buy its way out of recession. And from the United States to anywhere in the world in less than 2 hours.
With Transamerica Investments and Insurance Products, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to plan for your financial future. The people in the pyramid working for you.
Life's an adventure because you're over 50 and still exploring. So take the Centrum made just for you, Centrum Silver, with age-essential nutrients specially adjusted to keep pace with your changing nutritional needs. Centrum Silver, it's a great time to be silver.
Fibercon or Metamucil, both have fiber for regularity. But I like Fibercon better.
Same natural action of fiber, but only Fibercon contains calcium.
And with Fibercon, I get my fiber in 2 caplets.
FiberCon, fiber and calcium in a convenient caplet.
They are just people. Normal in every way but one. They expect more from a truck than 99% of the world. We call them the 1%ers. With their demanding standards in mind, we introduced the all-new GMC Sierra. The first half-ton pickup with four-wheel anti-lock disc brakes and our largest cab ever. 1%ers, the wait is over. The all-new Sierra from GMC.
I love being out in the sun. It makes me feel so alive. Now I really enjoy being outdoors because I've discovered this new lotion that's been awarded the Skin Cancer Foundation seal, designed for women our age. This SPF 15 formula, with intense vitamin-enriched moisture, helps protect maturing skin from future UV damage. It minimizes, even helps prevent, age spots. And the name? Pro-Vital Protective Moisture Lotion from Eau de Volée, proven to help you look revitalized.
Presenting my lovely wife, Linda!
At Transamerica, we have insurance products and investments for all kinds of families, no matter how much risk you're willing to take. The people in the pyramid, working for you.
Well, as Sam Donaldson pointed out, the president was thousands of miles away from the hearing today. One of the things he did was have dinner in Tokyo with the Japanese Prime Minister. Mr. Clinton spoke to the Japanese people. He urged them to be patient with their government's efforts to revive the economy. Earlier in the week, the government announced $196 billion worth of tax cuts and spending programs to get the economy going. Included is a $5 billion plan trying to force people to spend by actually giving them a gift. Our first report on the money tonight, ABC's Mark Litke.
Gift coupons called Shohinken are actually big business in Japan. Companies hand them out by the millions to promote products. Japanese give them to each other on most special occasions. But the idea of gift coupons to help solve the economic crisis here has been met with near universal ridicule. Japan's most influential financial newspaper calls it a silly idea not worthy of being called an economic policy. Still, here's how it'll work. Vouchers worth about $160 will be given to elderly pensioners and to families with children under 15. The vouchers must be used within 6 months, only at certain stores, and cannot be exchanged for cash. As you might expect, mothers and the elderly don't mind the handout, but most Japanese think the plan is meaningless, and here's why. Japan needs people to start spending on big-ticket items, and the gift coupons won't be nearly enough for that. Furthermore, surveys show that most people plan to use the coupons for necessities and just save the $160 they would have spent anyway.
If it's not going to do the trick, then it's just waste of money and effort.
So far, it seems all this plan has accomplished is to strengthen the perception that Japan's political leadership is weak and floundering, applying Band-Aids to the economy, in this case coupon Band-Aids, when what's really needed is some serious surgery. Mark Litke, ABC News, Tokyo.
Still on the money tonight, the building boom. Construction of new homes increased at the fastest rate in more than a year last month, up 7.3%. On Wall Street today, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was up just under 15 points to close at 90.56. On the NASDAQ, stocks were up about 22 points. Some credit card news. They now rival traditional bank loans as a way to finance small businesses. Nearly half of all entrepreneurs use plastic to finance their businesses now. Silicon Valley is crowded with multi-million-dollar companies begun on a credit card. The Russian parliament is debating a bill to establish a minimum wage and government pensions, and most politicians agree there are necessary basics for women. 6 pairs of pants, pantyhose, and 5 pairs of underwear every 2 years. A skirt and a dress every 5 years. A winter coat every 8. The politicians also seem to agree that a poor Russian should be entitled to 1 bath towel as well every 23 years. Coming up, the successor to the Concorde, technology on the cutting edge.
55. What'll it be?
We'll take some rice and get some farf, too. Yeah.
Now you can choose which teams you see every Sunday with DirecTV and NFL Sunday Ticket. There's up to 13 regular season games a week.
Price check on farm.
Hey, Brett. Hey,
Hey, John. So stock up on all your favorites. NFL Sunday Ticket. It's not on cable. See it on DirecTV. So what are you looking at?
Get the last 6 weeks of NFL Sunday Ticket free when you get DirecTV.
Why do I rent from Enterprise? Very simple. No stress.
We'll be happy to
They arrange to pick me up free, so I don't have to ask anyone for a ride. See? No stress. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
If you could leave just a little bit over at every meal, it would really add up.
Imagine what you could avoid eating in a single month. If you're significantly overweight, 30 pounds or more, depending on height, your doctor has something that may help you eat less.
It's called Meridia, and it can help you lose weight and keep it off. You've got to do your part. You've got to do your part with diet and exercise, but Meridia can help.
Meridia is a prescription medicine, and it's not for everyone. It can substantially raise blood pressure, and it's not for people who are pregnant or nursing, under 16, or taking anything else for weight loss, depression, Parkinson's disease, migraines, or for people with anorexia, glaucoma, or serious heart problems. Side effects may include headache, constipation, insomnia, and dry mouth. It's a controlled substance, so patients who abuse Meridia may become dependent. For more information, ask your doctor or call 1-888-4-MERIDIA.
I'm ready.
Meridia. You do your part, we'll do ours.
On the road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again. The life I love is making music with my friends. And I can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again. Going places that I've never been. Seeing things that I may never see again. I can't wait to get on the road again.
In California today, NASA, the space agency, tested the latest prototype of the Flying Wing. That's an airplane. It is solar-powered, it flies without a pilot, and it can go so high it may one day replace much more expensive and high-maintenance satellites. Not to mention it's fascinating. Which brings us to this edition of Technology on the Cutting Edge. What if it didn't take 12 hours to fly from the east coast of the United States to Asia? Now, that would be a revolution in travel. Here's ABC's Jack Smith, Technology on the Cutting Edge.
Welcome aboard.
Imagine flying from New York to Tokyo in just an hour and 3/4, to Paris in 45 minutes, and coast to coast in half an hour.
Even flying today's supersonic Concorde at twice the speed of sound, pilots in this cockpit cannot get anywhere close to that. But now there's a new plane being designed unlike any other that can.
It's called Hypersaur, a plane that would travel 10 times the speed of sound, nearly 7,000 miles an hour.
These airplanes have to be very, very slender, very, very sharp. They have to have very, very sharp leading edges. That gives it very little drag, so it can slice through the air at high speeds.
But the main secret to Hypersaur's performance is that it spends most of its time in space, at 130,000 feet, skipping over the atmosphere. That's right, skipping, just the way a stone skips over a lake.
You get an enormous lifting effect from skipping across the lake, and if you could somehow give some propulsion at every time you skipped, then you would be able to go completely across the lake with very little energy.
That's what Hypersaur does. Because it's in space, it doesn't overheat, and because it only uses its engine every 2 minutes to keep its skip going, it doesn't use much fuel. The engine prototype being tested is part rocket for gaining altitude, part jet for skipping. It's similar to the engine on the SR-71 spy plane and exceptionally efficient.
A Hypersaur vehicle will be able to carry payload and passengers at 1/5 the cost.
Of today's airline.
Of today's airliners.
Passengers, however, might find the roller coaster motion difficult. 1.5 times the force of gravity with every skip.
If you think about the thrill of a large swing, child swing, 1.5 Gs is what you feel at the bottom of the swing.
Hypersaur is expected to find its first use replacing today's Air Force bombers. But it could also carry satellites into space and, of course, ordinary freight.
Federal Express's motto could change from when it has to be there, absolutely has to be there overnight, to when it absolutely has to be there in 2 hours.
A breakthrough in airplane design that changes not only how we travel, but also how we think about our world. Jack Smith, ABC News, Livermore, California.
An epilogue today to the most memorable baseball season in years, and this time Sammy Sosa won. Sosa was named by the baseball writers as the National League's most valuable player today. Mark McGwire came in second. McGwire, as we know, edged out Sosa in the home run race, 70-66, but Sosa's Chicago Cubs made the playoffs, and McGwire's Cardinals did not. One of America's foremost film directors was killed today in a road accident on New York's Long Island. Alan Pakula was 70. He was known by his contemporaries as one of Hollywood's great storytellers. In All the President's Men, 1976...
May I have it? I don't think you're saying what you mean. I know exactly what I mean.
The reporters Woodward and Bernstein of the Washington Post ultimately bring down President Nixon. Clearly, said one critic, it's the best film about newspaper reporting ever made. Pakula was an actor's director in that he knew how to get the best out of them.
Sometimes I get spooked. I think I see people, hear things.
Jane Fonda in Clute, for one. Meryl Streep in Sophie's Choice, for another. When he was not making films, even when he was making films, he was dedicated to his family and his friends and his country.
At Boston Market, you can get the chicken America loves and the deal America wants. Now you can buy a whole chicken at Boston Market for only $5.99 and great side items starting at just 99 cents. So tonight, take home the chicken America loves, only at Boston Market.
Before you do this or this or this, you want to have this and this and this.
You'd be surprised how much of our technology goes into your day.
So for this or this.
We're Siemens.
We can do that.
Chevy Tahoe, like a rock.
ABCNews.com, the first place for news online. Get your news first from ABCNews.com, on the web, and America Online.
I'm Steve Dunn. News of the Northwest is next. Police Chief Moose cut loose in a Portland neighborhood. Now a community leader's calling for his resignation. Plus a warning for parents about loose-fitting pajamas. Next on Channel 2 News at 6:30.
Just a brief review of our top story of the day. It was a very long day, Judge Kenneth Starr's day before the House Judiciary Committee. Mr. Starr said in a lengthy report the evidence suggests that Mr. Clinton misused his presidential authority and made false statements about his relationship with Monica Lewinsky. Democrats spent the day attacking Judge Starr. That is our report on World News Tonight. Don't forget Nightline later this evening, Judge Starr's day, and David Kendall, President Clinton's lawyer, questioning of him. I'm Peter Jennings. Have a good evening and good night.